Hey friends, welcome to Shuru Channel, your favorite spot for books. Did you know that the richest people in the world all share one thing in common? And no, it's not just working super hard. It's not just about working smart either. That one thing is the art of staying quiet. Yeah, you heard that right. And if you think I'm joking or messing around, just wait. I'm going to share some real facts and true stories with you in the next 5 minutes. Things that can totally change your whole life. But there's one small condition, my friend. You've got to read this entire book patiently, because right at the end, I'm going to share a secret that very few people know. And once you start putting that into practice, you'll begin to see little changes happening in your life. So, let's get started today. Oh, and if this is your first time here with this book, don't forget to hit like after you start reading, so more people can get this knowledge. Look, friends, in the society we live in, every person has their own. People are always busy giving their opinions. Everyone wants to comment on everything on social media. Everyone wants to share their own opinion on every little thing. They want to make their presence known everywhere. But have you ever noticed that those who talk the most actually earn the least money, while those who stay quiet quietly build a huge empire for themselves? This isn't just a coincidence, my friend. It's a scientific and psychological fact. Now, take Warren Buffett, for example. He's one of the richest people in the world, one of the investors. Did you know he spends most of his time quietly reading books? He reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. He doesn't show up to every meeting. He doesn't give a speech at every conference. He doesn't react to everything on social media. He works in silence. He learns quietly and keeps getting richer quietly. Now, the question is, what's the connection between staying quiet and becoming wealthy? So my friend, here's the real secret I'm about to tell you. When you talk, you're giving away your energy. When you share all your plans with everyone, then your mind tricks you into thinking the job's already done. Scientists have found that when you tell someone about your goals, your brain releases the same kind of dopamine as if you'd actually finished the task. That means you get the satisfaction just by talking about it, even before doing the work. After that, you tend to get a bit lazy and lose motivation. Let me give you a real-life example so it's easier to understand. Say you're thinking about starting a business. Now you've got 2 options. The first option is you tell all your friends and relatives that you're going to start this business and make this much money within a year. Here's my plan, that plan. The second option is to just quietly get to work. Don't tell anyone, don't listen to anyone's opinions, just keep going. Now, which way do you think has a better chance of success? The answer is simple, the second way. Why? Because in the first case, you'll face 3 big problems. First, people will try to bring you down. They'll say, it won't work, it's too risky, you'll fail. Their negative words it'll get stuck in your head and take over. Secondly, you'll feel the social pressure. Everyone will ask, hey bro, how's the business going? How much have you made? What happened? And if anything goes wrong, everyone will judge you. Third, and most importantly, your energy will get scattered. Instead of focusing on your work, you'll spend time explaining things to others, answering their questions, and listening to their opinions. Now, just imagine if you chose the second path. You don't tell anyone anything. You just start. All your energy goes into just one thing. Focus on the task at hand. It's your work. No one's trying to bring you down. No negative comments, no pressure. You're learning from your mistakes, all unnoticed by others. And when you finally succeed, that's when you step into the spotlight. People get surprised. They say, wow, what a calm person, but so effective. That's the power of silence, my friend. But I've only told you one side of it. Staying quiet has a bunch of other benefits, especially related to your wealth. And these are so important that once you understand them, your whole life path will change. You'll go. So stay with me, because I've just started, really. The second big advantage is that when you keep quiet, you can observe better. Have you ever noticed that the most successful business people and the best negotiators are the ones who talk the least in meetings? They listen, understand, and analyze. While others are talking, these people are reading body language, spotting weaknesses, catching needs. And when they do speak, they say exactly what needs to be said, right at the right moment. I once read an interview with Don Kuber. He said his biggest strength is that he knows how to listen. Whenever he goes to make a property deal, he first fully listens to what the other person wants. What problems do they have? What do they need? Then he makes an offer that's customized to their needs. That's how he always gets the best deal.
If he had talked first and kept talking, it wouldn't have worked. This idea applies to every field: sales, marketing, negotiations, even investments. Those who react to every little move in the market, people panic at every piece of news and lose money. But those who stay quiet, watch patiently, and wait for the right time end up making millions. Now, let's talk about the third big benefit. When you keep quiet, you save your time. Think about how much time you waste on pointless things in a day: office gossip, social media debates, hours-long phone calls. If you add all that up, it's probably 2 to 3 hours. Now imagine if you used those 3 hours to work on your business or improve your skills. What good will it do to invest your health in development? Just spending 3 hours a day adds up to over 1,000 hours in a year. In 1,000 hours, you can learn a new skill, set up a side business, read 100 books, or go through a fitness transformation. But that's only possible if you stop wasting time on nonsense. I tried this experiment in my own life. I made a rule for 6 months to not engage in useless talks, avoid arguments on social media, and not get involved in gossip. And you know what happened? My productivity doubled. In those 6 months, I got more done than I had in the previous 2 years. My bank balance changed, my skills improved, and most importantly, my mental peace grew. The fourth big benefit is protection. Yeah, friends, staying quiet protects you. There are a lot of people out there who get jealous when they see your success. You might not believe it, but sometimes even your own people, your friends and family members, feel insecure seeing your growth. That's just human nature.
And when you start sharing your plans, strategies, and ideas with everyone, you're basically giving your competitors and enemies the information they can use against you. Let me tell you a famous story. Everyone knows about Steve Jobs. When he was developing new products at Apple, he kept things so secret that even people inside the company had no idea what was being worked on. Each department just focused on their own tasks, while the whole picture was only known by Steve Jobs and the top management. And whenever a product was launched, the whole world was amazed. Because of this secrecy, no one could copy it, no one could come up with a counter strategy, and the app was always one step ahead in the market. You need to apply this lesson in your life too. Protect your ideas, guard your strategy, wait until the work is completely done, until you succeed, then tell the world. Until then, stay quiet and keep working. The fifth and very important point is energy conservation. Have you ever noticed that when you argue with someone or when you keep trying to explain things, you end up getting tired? Mentally, you feel exhausted. This happens because your mental energy is limited. When you waste it on useless stuff, you don't have any left for important tasks. Successful people use their energy very carefully. They know their energy is their most valuable asset. So they stay away from negative people. They don't get involved in pointless arguments. They don't share their opinions on everything. They focus their energy on things that make them richer, on things that bring them closer to their goals. Let me tell you a really powerful concept called silence is golden. Since ancient times, great philosophers, spiritual leaders, and successful business people have said there's a lot of strength in staying quiet. Buddha said that silence is the loudest scream. Lao Tzu said, "Those who know don't speak. Those who speak don't know." These great minds understood the power of silence. Even modern science has proven this. Studies show that meditation and silence make your brain work better and boost your creativity. Your decision-making gets better. When you're calm, your brain's default mode network kicks in. That's the part responsible for creative thinking and solving problems. That's why the best ideas often come when you're relaxed, like while taking a shower or meditating. Now, let me share some practical tips on how you can tap into the power of this silence in your life. The very first tip is a social media detox. I'm not saying you have to quit social media completely, but you should limit your time. Don't spend more than an hour a day on social media, and most importantly, stop commenting on every post and jumping into every argument. Say someone shares a political post and you have a different opinion. Now you've got 2 options. 1, you jump into the comments, share your point, argue, and waste 2 hours. In the end, no one convinces anyone. Or 2, you just scroll past and use those 2 hours to do something productive. Which option do you think is better? The second tip is to stay away from gossip. Whether it's at the office, college, or just hanging out with friends, there's always gossip happening. People talk about others' relationships, badmouth them, or comment on their personal lives. It's all just useless stuff that drains your energy and gets you nowhere.
Whenever you find yourself in that situation, politely step away from the conversation. Focus on your work, study your books, keep your eyes on your goals. The third tip is to keep your goals private. Like I said before, when you share your goals, your motivation tends to drop. So keep your big goals to yourself. Yes, you can tell 1 or 2 really close friends or mentors who support you, but there's no need to tell the whole world. Share only after you've achieved something. Results speak louder than plans. The fourth tip is to practice active listening. When someone's talking to you, really listen. Don't check your phone, don't think about your reply, just listen. You'll be surprised how much valuable information you can pick up. People often drop hints in their words, talk about opportunities, or share their problems. If you're a good listener, you'll be able to catch those opportunities. And the fifth tip to take advantage of is daily silence practice. Every day, set aside at least 15 to 20 minutes when you can be completely quiet. No music, no phone, no talking. Just sit or lie down in peace. You can meditate, do deep breathing, or simply observe your thoughts. This practice is really good for your mental health and boosts your focus. Now, I'll share some real-life case studies that perfectly illustrate this concept. The first case study is Mark. When Mark was building Facebook, he didn't tell anyone what he was making. Even his college friends didn't know the full idea. He quietly coded and built it in his dorm room, and when Facebook launched, the whole Harvard University was shocked. If Mark had told everyone from the start, someone else might have copied his idea first, or negative comments could have killed his motivation. The second case study is Jeff Bezos. In the early days of Amazon, Jeff Bezos kept a really low profile. He rarely gave interviews to the media and hardly spoke at conferences. He was quietly building his business. Even when people were mocking him and criticizing his business model, he just kept working silently. And today, Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest people on the planet. The third case study is Elon Musk. Now, you might say Elon Musk talks a lot and is very active on Twitter. But if you pay close attention, Elon Musk doesn't actually share his real plans or strategies. He talks about marketing, but his real work and true innovation happen behind the scenes. When Tesla is developing new technology, Elon is quietly working away. When there's innovation happening with SpaceX rockets, he keeps everything under wraps. He only shares what he wants to share. Everything else stays internal. Now, let me touch on some psychological aspects. When you stay quiet, you become mysterious, and people are naturally drawn to mysterious individuals. They want to know about them, connect with them, and learn from them.
When you tell everyone everything, there's no mystery about you. People start to see you as predictable. But when you're selective, when you keep some things to yourself, people respect you more. Another important thing is staying quiet actually boosts your credibility. Those who talk less are listened to when they do speak. But people who are always talking, giving opinions on everything, their words lose value. People think they're always talking, so nothing special in what they say. But when a calm person finally speaks, everyone pays close attention when something important is about to be said. Now, I'm going to share a really powerful concept called strategic silence. It's when you purposely stay quiet in certain situations. For example, during salary negotiations, when your boss makes an offer, don't immediately say yes or no. Take a pause and stay silent. Psychologically, that silence makes the other person uncomfortable, and often they end up giving you a better offer. I've used this trick myself, and it works. Here's another example. When someone is angry at you, they're shouting and screaming, and your natural reaction would be to snap back in anger. But what if you stay calm, keep quiet, and just let the other person speak? What happens then? The other person gets even more frustrated because they're not getting the reaction they expected. And often, they end up calming down themselves. Your silence becomes your greatest strength. Now, let's talk about finances. People who stay quiet don't talk about their money. They don't say how much they've earned, how much they've invested, or where they've invested it. And that's really important. Why? Because when you talk about your money, people judge you. They get jealous. They ask you for money or give you bad financial advice. I've seen a lot of people who earned a little and told everyone about it. Then relatives started asking for money, friends began asking for loans, people started suggesting schemes to invest in. Slowly, all the money was gone. But those who stay quiet build their wealth, keep their money safe, invest it wisely, and stay rich for a long time. Remember, being rich, people usually keep a low profile.
They don't show off or flash their wealth. They quietly keep building their assets. Middle-class folks, as soon as they get some money, start buying fancy cars, expensive clothes, and throwing big parties. They want everyone to see and say, "Look, I'm successful." But real rich people don't do that. They keep their wealth private. Now, here's a really important point I want to tell you. Staying quiet doesn't mean you won't communicate or become introverted. Being quiet means being strategic. When it's necessary, just say it then. Say what's necessary. Avoid useless talk. Quality over quantity. This principle applies to every part of life. Another great benefit of staying quiet is that you boost your emotional intelligence. You get better at reading people, understanding their feelings, and catching their intentions. This skill is useful everywhere, in business, relationships, everywhere. People with high EQ tend to be more successful because they manage others well, make better decisions, and smooth over conflicts. Let me give you a personal, sharing a story. A few years ago, I used to be super talkative. In every meeting, I was the one who talked the most. At social gatherings, I was the most active person. Online, I joined every debate. I thought that was a good thing. I was social, I was active, but when I looked back at my progress, I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. My salary stayed the same, my savings were very low, my skills weren't improving. Then I made a decision. I thought, why not try an experiment for a month? I decided to keep my words to a minimum. I'd only speak when it was really necessary. The rest of the time, I just listened, observed, and learned. That 1 month, my friends, completely changed my life. I noticed so many things I never had before. At the office, I figured out how everyone thinks, what motivates them, who's genuinely talented, and who's just pretending. I understood my boss better and got a clearer sense of market trends. Most importantly, I came to know myself a lot better. After that month, I made this habit a permanent part of my life. And over the next 6 months, my salary increased by 20%, I started a website business that's doing really well now, I read 10 books, and my mental peace improved a lot. All this happened just from staying quiet, staying focused, and putting my energy in the right places. Now, I want to tell you about some common mistakes people make. The first mistake is people think staying quiet means being shy or weak. Not at all. Staying quiet is a strength, not a weakness. It's a sign of confidence, not insecurity. Someone who's confident in themselves means every word they say. You don't need to give your opinion all the time. You don't have to make your presence known everywhere. You know your value comes from your work, not your words. The second mistake people make is thinking that if they stay quiet, others will forget or ignore them. But the truth is the opposite. When you do quality work and deliver quietly, people actually notice you more. Your work speaks for you. You don't need to promote yourself. Your work promotes you. The third mistake people make is thinking networking. There's a lot to say about this, but the best networkers are the ones who listen. When you meet someone and just keep talking about yourself, the other person gets bored. But if you ask about them, really listen, understand their problems, they remember you. They think, this person is different. They actually want to know about me. That's how strong networks are built. Now, I'll share some advanced techniques. The first technique is the power of pause. When you're having a conversation or giving a presentation, take occasional pauses and use silence. It has 2 benefits.
Sometimes people get a chance to understand you. Second, act like an authority figure. People who talk nonstop come off desperate, but those who take calculated pauses seem confident and in control. The second technique is the 3-second rule. When someone asks you something or says something, don't react immediately. Pause for 3 seconds, think, then respond. This makes your answers more thoughtful. You avoid impulsive mistakes and come across as more mature. It's a small technique, but super powerful. The third technique is selective sharing. You can't share everything with everyone. Communicate with different people on different levels. Share more with your closest circle. Keep things minimal with others. Maintaining these boundaries is really important. Now, let me tell you how this ties into building your wealth. When you save your time and energy, you can invest them. You can learn new skills that will increase your income. You can start a side hustle that brings in extra cash. You can read books that give you knowledge. You can take courses. Do the things that will get you certified. Build a network that opens up opportunities for you. All this is only possible when you have the time, energy, and focus. And that happens only when you stay away from unnecessary stuff. Now, let's talk about silence and investing. The most successful investors stay quiet. They don't react to every market move. They don't panic over every piece of news. They have a long-term vision and patience. And quietly, they grow their wealth. Retail investors are the ones who are always trading. Every time they make a move and act on social media stock discussions, they end up losing money because they're reactive, not proactive, emotional, not rational. Now, I'm going to tell you the final and most important point, the secret I mentioned at the beginning that very few people know. So listen carefully. The biggest benefit of staying quiet is that you get to hear your inner voice. When all the outside noise dies down, you can hear yourself, your intuition, your gut feeling, your inner wisdom, and these things will guide you. It helps you make the best decisions. People who are always listening to outside noise end up forgetting their own voice and relying on others' opinions. They lose trust in their own judgment. But when you stay quiet, when you spend time with yourself, you get to know who you really are. You understand what you want, what your values are, and what your goals are. And once you know that, no one can distract you from your path. You stay focused, committed, and that's how you succeed. So friends, that was my message. The more you stay quiet, the richer you become. This isn't just a saying, it's a lifestyle, a philosophy, a success strategy. I'm not telling you to go completely silent or stop communicating. I'm saying be smart, be selective, be strategic, value your energy, value your time, value your words. Always quality over quantity. If you found this book helpful, if you feel this content was valuable to you, please give it a like. It only takes a second to hit that like button, but it really motivates me to keep going for you. Keep making more books like this. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do it now and hit the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video. Most importantly, share this video with friends who you think need to hear this message. This video could change someone's life. Your one share might be a total game changer for someone. So please, help get this to as many people as possible. And tell me in the comments what you think about this topic. Do you agree with this philosophy? What's your experience? Have you ever tried the experiment of just staying quiet? I'm really curious to know your thoughts. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll definitely answer. Now, I want to share some deeper insights with you. See, we live in a digital age where attention has become the most valuable thing. Social media companies, app developers, marketers, they're all chasing your attention. Why? Because whoever has your attention has your time, your energy, and ultimately, you've got money. But when you keep talking nonstop, keep posting, keep reacting, you're giving your attention to these platforms, not to yourself. Rich people get this. They guard their attention like someone guards their bank account. They're picky about what they consume, who they talk to, what they focus on. They know that where their attention goes, their energy follows. And where their energy goes, that's where their results come from. Now, look at it from another angle. When you stay quiet, you don't give your competitors any advantage. In the business world, information is power. If you spill all your strategies, plans, and ideas, you're basically handing your competitors a roadmap. They can see what you're planning and adjust their own strategies accordingly. But when you keep quiet and maintain the element of surprise, you're always one step ahead. You've probably noticed that big companies keep complete secrecy when launching new products. Apple, Google, Tesla, they all do this. Why? Because surprise is everything. Element marketing is the most powerful tool, and this principle applies on a personal level too. When you stay quiet about your project and then suddenly deliver something amazing, people get impressed. They think, wow, this person was working under the radar and now look at what they've done. Now, speaking about mental health, those who talk a lot and are very socially active tend to have higher anxiety and stress levels. Why? Because they constantly have to perform, constantly respond, and constantly maintain their image. Mental load is really heavy, but when you stay quiet and free yourself from social pressure, your mental health improves. You feel more peaceful and grounded. Scientific studies have shown that silence and solitude are super beneficial for your brain. When you're in a quiet environment, your brain starts creating new neurons, especially in the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory and learning. That means silence isn't just good for mental peace, it also boosts your cognitive abilities. Another thing, which very few people, what this means is avoiding energy vampires. Some people drain your energy. They keep talking negatively, complaining, and causing drama. If you interact with them a lot and buy into what they say, your energy will turn negative too.
But when you stay quiet and are selective about who you engage with, you protect yourself from these energy vampires. You can keep your positive energy intact. Now, I'm going to share some practical exercises you can start doing today.
You can start now. The first exercise is No Complaints Day. Spend an entire day without complaining about anything, whether it's traffic, the weather, your workload, or anything else. You just don't complain. This exercise will teach you how to control your thoughts and words. It'll be tough at first, but with practice, it gets easier. The second exercise is the morning silence routine. Every morning when you wake up, stay completely silent for the first 15 minutes. Don't check your phone, don't talk to anyone, don't turn on the TV. Just focus on your day ahead. Get ready. Stay quiet. This practice will make your whole day better. You'll be more focused, more productive. For the third exercise, during the weekly digital detox, set aside a full 4 hours one day when you won't touch any digital device. No phone, no laptop, no TV, nothing. Use those 4 hours to do something physical. Read a book, go outside, meditate, or just relax. This will help you realize how happy you can be without any devices. The fourth exercise is the 3 before me rule. Whenever there's a discussion, until then, don't speak until all 3 people have spoken. This way you'll learn to listen actively and avoid blurting out impulsively. You'll give more thoughtful answers and people will value what you say more. Now, let me tell you how this silence practice helps you build wealth in the long run. When you save your time and energy, you can invest it in compounding. Compounding isn't just about money, it's about skills, knowledge, and relationships too. If you spend an extra hour every day on something valuable, that adds up to 365 hours in a year. In 5 years, over 1,800 hours. That's more than enough time to become an expert. You could start multiple businesses in different fields, build an incredible network. And all this is possible just because you didn't waste your time on useless talk. Another important point I want to share is the connection between discipline and silence. Those who can control their speech can maintain discipline in other areas of their lives too. If you can control your words, you can control your diet, you can control your finances. You can do it. You can control your habits. Self-control is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And practicing silence is one of the best ways to strengthen that muscle. Now, let me talk a bit about leadership. The best leaders aren't the ones who talk the most. The best leaders are those who listen the most. They give their team space to speak up, share ideas, and talk about problems. Then they think things through and make decisions. Teams with leaders like that are more productive, more innovative, and more loyal. If you want to be a leader in your life, career, or business, you've got to learn the art of silence. Here's an interesting fact. The most successful negotiators in the world use silence like a weapon. When they make an offer, they just stay quiet. They watch how the other person reacts. Most of the time, the other person gets uncomfortable with the silence and ends up offering better terms or revealing their weaknesses themselves. This technique can create deals worth millions in business negotiations. Now, let's talk about creativity. You know, in the world, when do the most creative people get their best ideas? When they're alone and calm. Einstein used to take long walks without talking to anyone. Steve Jobs practiced meditation. Bill Gates took think weeks where he'd go alone to a cabin just to read and reflect. These people understood that creativity needs silence and solitude. When you're constantly distracted and surrounded by noise, your brain can't be creative. Creativity needs space, silence, and freedom. And nowadays, creativity is becoming the most valuable skill. AI and automation is handling all the repetitive tasks. What's left is creative thinking, problem-solving, innovation, things that come from silence. So if you want to stay relevant in the future, if you want to earn a high income, start practicing silence from today. I want to share one last story with you. It's really inspiring. This story is about a Japanese businessman named Takeo Fujisawa. He was the co-founder of Honda Motor Company. People used to say he spoke the least in meetings. Sometimes he wouldn't say a single word the entire meeting. But when
he used to say things that everyone listened to, his words were so powerful and thoughtful that they could change the whole direction. His practice of silence even helped Honda become a world-class company. Today, Honda is one of the biggest automobile companies in the world. So friends, in the end, I just want to say that silence is a superpower. And this superpower can belong to anyone. You don't need any special talent. No degree is required. No big investment is needed. All it takes is one decision, one commitment. Decide right now that from this moment on, you're going to value your words, your time, and your energy. You won't say yes to everything, be everywhere, or get involved in every little thing. You'll be selective, strategic, and focused. And when you do this, you'll see your life start to change. You'll become more productive, your income will grow, your savings will increase, and your relationships will improve. Your mental health will get better. Most importantly, you'll start to understand yourself a whole lot better. And when you know yourself, and you become unstoppable. So start today. Take small steps. Don't say you'll quit for a whole hour in one day. Try staying off social media one day a week. Spend 15 minutes every day in silence. Then watch how your life changes. Remember, the more quiet moments you have, the richer you become. And it's not just about money. It's about mental peace, time freedom, self-awareness, purpose, and fulfillment. That's the real wealth. So friends, I hope this book was valuable to you. If you learned something, please hit the like button. Give it, share it, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Your support really motivates me to create more helpful content. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, take care of your health and stay focused on your life. Remember, silence is the golden key to life. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay connected for more valuable content.